Hi guys, some of my friends asked me to make videos on machine learning, so I am starting a new playlist of machine learning from today. So I will try to make it easy as much as possible because it contains some maths and I even don't like maths, so I will try to make it simple for you. For today I am just starting about what is machine learning with an example. So machine learning, the name itself suggests that we try to make the machine, that is our computer, learn by itself. Okay, so learning is something that is understanding and guessing. Okay, like what we learn in our schools and we give exams, so that is the same thing we will do in machine learning. Okay, so just check an example through which I am going to understand what is the basics of machine learning. So machine learning is all about the prediction of future from past behaviors. Okay, so suppose I am in a bank and I need to decide if a customer is good or bad. Okay, so some customer is asking for loan from our bank and I am going to decide if we should give the customer loan or we should not give him, because the customer may or may not return our money. Okay, so how to guess that if the customer will going to return our money or not? So that we are going to decide from the past behaviors of some other customers. We have details of our past customers, and what details, like what are the parameters through which we are going to decide if the customer is good or bad. So the parameters or the determining factors are these, that is credit score, income of the customer's profession, the purpose of him taking the loan, the customer's personal assets, and if the customer has any criminal history or not, the age of the customer, and there are some other parameters as well. Okay, so suppose we are having these parameters and I am denoting these with p1 to p6 and p7. Okay, like this. Okay, so these are the determining factors. So I particularly do not know that if our current customer will going to return our money or not. We are just guessing it. Okay, so but this is not the first customer who are taking money from us. I am having similar type of customers regularly. So I have data of my past customers, like these parameters values of our previous customers I already know. So what are the values of these parameters of our previous customers? I already know that. Okay, and I already also know that if our previous customers have returned our money or not. This is our past data or past behavior, and we are going to predict the future of the new customer through this. Okay, so I am writing this x equals to x1 x2 n, and this all x1 x2, these are all vectors. Okay, and this is a set of customers. So this x1 is a customer, x2 is a customer, up to xn, these all are customers, and for every customer we have a vector of parameters. Okay, so xn here is the nth customer. So for xn, what are the value of the parameters? xn1, xn2. Okay, so xn1 is the value of the first parameter for xnth customer. Okay, by nth customer. xn2 is the value of the second parameter for nth customer, and this suppose the first parameter is credit score, second parameter is assets. Okay, just like that. So how many parameters we have? We have up to d parameters. Okay, so x and d is the value of dth parameter. So each x is a d component vector because there are d parameters, that is number of parameters. So each of the x is a d component vector. So if at any time if you don't understand it, just pause, go back and listen it again. Okay, I am sure that you will understand. So okay, so now after having all the details and of the all customers, what are the possible results I can have? I can have only two possible results, that I am the customer is good or bad. Okay, I am writing this as y or n. So y is if the loan is approved, that is we are giving loan to that customer. We are going to give loan to the customer when we decide that the customer is a good customer and he is going to pay our money back. So that is noting here with y, and n is for when I think that the customer is not going to pay our money back, so I am declining his loan, so I am denoting it with n here. Okay, so for good understanding, and you can denote this with +1 comma -1 or 1 comma 0 of whatever value you think is good for your understanding. Okay, So now we are going to learn some terms for machine learning. So this h is a function. Okay, so I am giving all the value of the parameters for a person. So this xn is what? This xn is the nth person, and this xn vector is a d-dimensional vector with all the parameters for this particular person. So I am giving this vector or all the parameter values of that person to a particular function, that is h, and this function is giving me a result, that is y or n. Okay, so suppose this particular function is giving me y for nth person and it is giving me n for mth person. So how I can write this for particular this xn person, that is for h, that is the function or the hypothesis. This x is the d-dimensional customer. X is a d-dimensional customer. Suppose x means xn, whatever it can be, xn, xm, whatever, and this is giving me y or n. Okay, so for this particular example it is giving us y. So this h is a hypothesis or function. I am applying this function over this data. Xn is what? Xn is data or a set of data, because here we are having different parameters values. So xn is a different parameters values vector and h is a function. So we are applying the function on a set of values, and after applying a function on a set of values we are having an answer, that is y or n. That is what we are gonna predict. That is, we need to predict. Okay, because on that basis we are going to decide if we are going to give him loan or not. That is f. So f is what? It is our target function. So see, if we decide that a person is good and we give him loan, so that is, we are deciding from our past values and past experience, but that does not mean that that is the absolutely correct thing, because everyone thought that Vijay Mallya or Nirav Modi are going to pay back their loans. Okay, they thought that they were good customers, so that the bank gave them loans, but now they are not giving the loans back. So this is a problem. Okay, so no one can particularly know that if the function we are using to predict is absolutely correct or not. Only God knows that. So we denote this function, that is our target function, as God function, because this is the function which will give us 100% correct predictions. Okay, it will give us 100% correct predictions. So that is known as God function, that determines every test sample correctly. So what is test sample? The test sample is the current customer of which we are predicting that it is a good customer or bad. So we can predict it, but it can be wrong or right. That is depends on the future, but only God function, that is the actual value. Okay, only God knows. So I am deciding this function as God function. So only this function can predict it 100% correctly. We cannot achieve the target function, that is our God's function, but we can come close to it. So this is some new terms as well. So I am just making this video about the terms you are going to use in our next videos. So just get familiar with the terms. So the given past data, that is our previous records, is known as training sample. Okay, and the current particular data on which we are trying our hypothesis or our function to predict, this is known as test sample. So we are going to use that test sample thing again later, but for now just remember it. So on which we are testing our function is test sample, and on the basis of which samples we are making or creating our function, that is our training sample. Okay, so the possible set of function is known as hypothesis set. So there are an infinite number of hypothesis set, because there are an infinite number of functions and their arrangements. So we can say that we are going to pick one particular hypothesis from our infinite hypothesis set which is best fit for our training sample. Okay, and which will be giving us results as close possible to as God's function. So first, this is our target function. This is the God's function which we are trying to achieve. Okay, that is, it will give us 100% correct predictions. And on which basis we are trying to reach to that function? So we have what? The company is giving us some training samples. Okay, that is some previous or past records. So we have training samples to work on with. What else we have along with training samples? We have a hypothesis set, that is the all possible combinations of functions, that is infinite number of functions. So we have hypothesis set and we have training sample, and by working on these two, we are developing a learning algorithm. So by working on training sample and hypothesis set, we are making a learning algorithm. Which learning algorithm is giving us what? This learning algorithm is giving us our final hypothesis. So we are providing our learning algorithm with the training sample and the hypothesis set, and learning algorithm is giving us a final hypothesis, that is G. So see, this target function is F and the final hypothesis is G, which we are creating. So these two are not similar. Okay, our target is to make these two similar, but if we cannot achieve the target, our second target is that we make these two identical as possible. Okay, we make this G close to this target function F. Okay, that is our main aim. So I hope this is clear, and so do like, subscribe and share this video, and I will be coming back with another machine learning video soon.